Hello, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. How's everybody doing on this fine Friday? Last day of the month. Tomorrow is going to be the 1st of March. How's everybody doing? How was the week? Was it good? You're doing good? That's good. That's nice to hear. Something more. You were on a break. Oh, doing what? Midterms, exams. Yeah, I feel you. Around this time, I would be probably studying for the exams on college. As always, we're gonna wait a few minutes so that everybody can tune in. And once that is done, we can begin the showcase and discussing what's coming to the next month and the game production. A few of you who are patrons should already know what is to come because you get early access to pretty much the information and of course the update, which hasn't been published yet. So I do have a few things to say. But before anything, I do want to shout out to the Patreon supporters, Blocky, Musketeer, and Gardnet for the support. Of course, we had a few other people, but they have cancelled the subscription, so we had a good flow. We had a good influx, I have to say, of people into the Discord. We have finally reached 1,000 members, which is pretty insane in a few months. Hopefully, by the end of the year, we will have the triple the numbers. Who knows? We just have to have our fingers crossed. I've been in Discord, but I don't want to verify my phone. It's alright if you don't want to verify. The verification is to kinda avoid the bot problems. So to make our Discord safer, we had to verify or enable that step, because we don't want bots to be flooding in. And I know that a lot of people have been saying that they've been timed out. That is because we have a security measure that can detect certain words, so we have to take a look on that. But a lot of the people that you probably seen a few times in the Discord or in other Discords, they click on the Steam link scan and they get hacked, and then they start to send that to every single Discord. If the bot picks that little key word, you know, the person will get automatically timed out. Sometimes it will get automatically kicked. Where can I play this? You can try out, or you can test the prototype on our Discord. There should be a link down in the description of this live stream. You can go up there, or you can do exclamation Discord, and the bot will probably give you the link to the to our Discord. You will have a prototype channel. You can click that and take a look at the outdated version, or the final free version, quote unquote. So this live stream is a little bit important because a few things did actually change, and there are a few changes coming up real soon that a few of you, or at least the people who are going to watch this live stream or are watching, need to get the information. One will be regarding the Patreon. Second will be regarding the development of the game. And the third one will be about probably early rewards. Let's put it that way, early rewards. So if you guys are new to the live stream, to the game itself, would love to know, where did you find us? If it was from my YouTube channel, if it was from Vivix, or even from our good fellow friend Velocity, who kindly did a shout out to our game on his top 5 or top 10 upcoming Dragon games, which I was not really expecting, but a huge shout out to Velocity and Vivix. Hopefully we will have a few other content creators on board and spread the word. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send them. I'm just gonna close my window really fast. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, if people are joining in and if they type in the chat, just tell them that I'm just gonna close my windows, and we will begin this live stream really shortly. It won't be as long as the other ones, but hopefully we will cover everything in today's live stream. So give me just a few seconds. I'm back. It was randomly recommended to me on my YouTube feed. I also found it on YouTube. That is pretty cool. A few of the applications that I've had to the game, actually, a few of them found it throughout my YouTube videos. Actually, I do want to take a look and see if we do have a few new applications, because looks like currently we don't have. We don't have nothing new. So, without further ado, welcome everybody to February live stream or dev live stream. As you can see from the screen, we have our official concept art for the game, which you will probably see this often. And it was done by Leon. I do think he did an amazing job on capturing the overall battle or the defeat of the humans. And then we have, of course, the inspiration of the first dragon that we ever had in the game, for those who don't know. In the background, ready to spit fire. So we'll just jump here to the capturing screen. Now you guys can see my screen. Hello. So this week, as some of you who are subscribed to Patreon already know, but for those of you who are tuning in, this month, I have to say, was a pretty difficult month. So a sad announcement that I do have to give is that Jaren, our lead developer, will be stepping down from the development of the game. This decision was done by him, and if people are wondering the reason, it's because of, how can I say, it's because of creative differences. So because that differences were affecting him with his motivation, you know, I gave him, a few ideas. I gave him a few things to kind of think and do to get that motivation up. But I told him, by the end of the month he needed to give me a reply if he wanted to still continue with the project, which he said that it was best for him to not continue. So I have decided to respect his opinion, and I've been in search, of course, of a new developer to continue the game where he left on. So he did a few tweaks to the game, he did a few implementations which I do want to show. A lot of the stuff that were supposed to kind of get arranged didn't. I don't really know if they will be fixed, because the month itself, like I said, it was pretty harsh, and the lead developer didn't really have time to work on the game due to his work schedule, which was really busy, so that slowed down a little bit of the progress. And on top of that, he got sick, and then he finally freed his schedule by, I think, the week before, and he unfortunately lost motivation. So you could see that basically impacted it impacted a little bit the development and progress of the game. Now, there were a lot of stuff that needed to be fixed or adjusted in my case, but I don't really know if he's going to be able to do that, or if he's going to do that, or if that's something that we have to leave for the next developer who's jumping in to the project. Now, what he did was adding traps, fall damage, and it was supposed to be another third one, but he didn't. We rearranged it a few times to make it plausible, but the third one, he's still working on it, which is procedural animation, or in this case the retargeting, so that we can implement animations easily to the game instead of just doing anything. So the Jaren leaving, it will be hard, but it won't be, you know, it's something that will kind of slow down our game development, hopefully. I've already have contacted a few developers, and I do have one that is ready to jump on board, but he still needs to kind of look at the code and kind of work and see and get adjusted. But I don't know if he's gonna fully jump into the train. Hopefully I will make announcement really soon about his stepping up. We also will have a animator, which she works with Maya, and she did a few animations, and she's pretty eager to learn and make dragon animations. So it will take a little bit of time for her to, you know, get those smooth animations, but I do feel that she has a lot of potential. But like the developer, there will be a certain announcement for that person. Something that you guys might see right now is that our game is currently available to play on Steam. So it's a hint. So maybe next week we will have also a special announcement for those who watch the stream. You know, you probably know what's coming, so I'm not really gonna spoil it, but it is happening. And once that announcement comes out, we probably can say the development or the game is out of the prototype phase and it's going to jump into the early alpha stages. So currently this is the update that is available for people, but I kind of forgot that he didn't really upload the build to Steam, so I do have to kind of open our Epic Games and show you the update there. Also, another bad news is that I've invested a quite good amount of money for a environment or level designer, which he was doing the landscape mainly for the first half, and unfortunately he did a very, in my opinion, bad job, so I end up paying the price, and he gave me a really bad map, which is not really gonna be useful. So the map that you guys saw in the sneak peeks will not be coming really soon. Usually there is a way by lowering your graphics, which is pressing 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that will go through every preset that John made, from low quality to medium to upscaling and high. So in the prototype, I do think you have that option available. And for those of you who are still wondering, the prototype, the update for the prototype won't be free or available for anyone right now. The one that you have is a outdated version, and it will stay that way until we do have, you know, some sort of means of funding, because after that the plan was to make a playable demo. So now we're just gonna go in and target the playable demo for those who want to try out, you know, the weekly updates or get involved in the monthly updates. You can do that from Patreon, but like I said, Patreon will receive a rework and a few touches that might be more appealing for the audience. So let's see if I can pull this off. So right now, you can probably see that there's a few things and one of these are the traps. Sure, a few contests would be, I wouldn't say for the map design, but I would say a contest for dragons, and having a map design is not really that bad. But the map itself is not really something that we really need right now. It would be awesome to have a more bigger map, a more visual stunning map that people can fly, but currently that is not really the main goal. So in this build, which is the most recent, you can see that we, or in this case Jaren, has made two types of trap. One is a projectile trap, which will stick to your dragon. So this will work with spears and arrows, and it will take HP. It doesn't really take the HP from this tab, but you will see on the top left that it takes XP. And we also will have the bear traps, which are currently implemented here, that we probably already step on a few. So these are one of the few traps that will be available around the map scattered. You can see that the bear trap just clings to you, and there will be an animation to kind of remove the spears and arrows from your dragon. But this is just an early type for the traps to kind of give a few elements of PvE for the people to try out once multiplayer is available, because the focus on multiplayer will not only be to test the stability of the server, to test, you know, the overall performance, but it also will be mainly focused on PvE. So before jumping into major stuff, I do want to have the PvE worked on first, and then jump onto the PvP stuff, which will require a lot more effort. Wait, AI things will be a things? No. So these traps will actually be scattered around the map. These are traps that the humans left behind. So you will encounter this in probably an open field, in the middle of a forest. It will come in different types of traps. You will have the bear traps, you will have like spears, you will probably have the ballista, and then you will have other few clever traps that are still being worked on, that will kind of hurt your dragon and probably kill if you're really low HP. The purpose of the traps are not really to do a one-shot kill. It's more of a being a really bad you know, time for you guys. So the game will give elements of PvE which are going to be a problem, so you're gonna learn how to dodge, you're gonna learn how to kind of know where they will spawn, and maybe disable them, maybe leave them to another player, maybe use them to your advantage. So these are just basically the few traps that Jaren was working on, and we intend on having more. Unfortunately, he was not really on board of this trap development, because he wanted to do multiplayer, which was also in the next milestone. But because of the sudden change on things, we have to put a pin on multiplayer for now and focus on a few things to make the game polished and good. But this is what I can only show you for development of the February. We can drink water, we can eat. I do think that the dragon is slowly growing, I suppose, or it's the collision from the objects. AI will also get a rework. Traps will also be added and reworked. We have to find a temporary asset for the traps that can kind of shoot, and some traps will kind of work as a pressure plate style, where if you press it, it will shoot arrows and it will shoot spears continuously. And some traps will be just a one shot, so it might have like a 50-50 chance of missing or hitting. If it hits, it will be very bad for you, but if it misses, then it will be very nice. So it will kind of need a little bit of knowledge, and you will need to know how to dodge it. Because if you don't pay attention, and if you're not really good at flying, and if you're not really good at dodging, if that, you know, thing hits you, it will be a really, really bad day for your dragon. And for you, of course. Just give me a few minutes. I have to just check here something. So, for the fire effect, as you can see, it's still the same, but this fire will be changed with a new fire. Like I said, a lot of the stuff were dropped because of the development, you know, problem and stuff. But the fire was supposed to be changed, which will become eventually. The flying system would get a overall change, which control would not make so that the dragon dives down. So space would be to just fly up, control will be to fly down, and if you want to dive, you have to press either control and W or control and S. And if you want to go up, you simply hold space and W. So currently, just forget about the traps. Currently, if you press control, you will see that the dragon will immediately dive. So that's not how I kind of work as intended. And before our game crashes because of our beautiful traps. So that it doesn't really crash on us, because I think the traps or the carts itself were bugging out. Will there be story to the game? There will be story. There is a lore team working on the story. If you know, those who really enjoy reading or who enjoy stories, there will be a few things that in the lore story will also be able to depict in the game. You can kind of traverse, find few hidden, you know, stuff, and you can also find, you know, remains of battles which will be dictated in the lore. And you will have plenty of stuff to do, plenty of, I wouldn't say plenty, but you will have a few resources to kind of search and scavenge as a dragon, which I don't want to really give spoilers here, but you will have a few resources as a dragon that you will need to fly over and around the map to kind of find them and consume. I'll just leave that out. So unfortunately, this was not really the kind of showcase I would want you guys to see. I do apologize for you know, the lack of progress, but you know, Jaren being overloaded with work, with personal work, and then being sick, and then, you know, getting dismotivated, and now he's stepping down from the team, will reduce the progress a little bit. Dragons will be immediately unlocked. That is the goal. So you won't really be able to kind of pay for the dragons. Once a dragon is ready, you will be able to play it without paying or without unlocking. It is something that I'm aiming for. Is something that I don't really like. So people will be able to play their favorite dragon once it's ready to launch. The only system that kind of will be implemented will be the DLCs, where we still need to kind of find a middle ground where you're gonna buy DLCs for skins only, so it will be just cosmetic. You'll be able to kind of personalize your dragon with the default settings. It won't be as much because you will have, of course, the skins, and you will have a progression system which will play a lot on how you kind of play your dragon. So it's still a few things that are still a work in progress, still being polished, but there will be a progression system where I will give you an example, which I'm more aiming towards, is if in the beginning you won't have a lot of stamina, but getting tired constantly flying or running will kind of progress your stamina bar, which will slowly larging your stamina pool until you get to, let's say, quote unquote, a max stage where you will be able to kind of fly for long periods of time because you've been grinding that skill of flying around, being active. If you're eating a lot, your metabolism will slow down a tiny bit, so you won't be hungry as often, because in the beginning you will be very, very hungry. And you know, if you're falling a lot, if you're getting hurt a lot, you will get, you know, maybe a resistance for bone break and stuff like that. So these are a few ideas for the progression system. Skill tree wise, I don't think we will have a skill tree wise, but it's also something that we have already thought of. But I do think the previous progression system that I've mentioned is fair and well balanced. But skill tree might come, who knows. I'm still deciding this with the developer. But once again, I do have to apologize for the lack of content. This month was not really a good month for Dragonsvale. Hopefully March will be more exciting. We will have at least something to show you, and hopefully some pretty cool news and updates that you guys can see. Yes. So you have to be active to kind of progress those skills. If you decide to just eat and just stay in the bush and wait to kind of grow, then those, you know, those stats will not grow because you're just standing there. We might even implement a stat that if you stand for long periods of time without really doing anything, you will get a lazy stat, so you're gonna get like a bad benefits. We are avoiding at all costs to use buffs and debuffs. That is something that we, or I in this case, I'm not really fond of it, so forget the buff and debuff. There will be certain stuff that will penalize and help your dragon, and diet will also be one of them. There will be a story. There is a lore team working on the story of the game, so there will be story, and I do intend on making, you know, a trailer for the game that will kind of show a little bit life before the extinction of the humans. So there will be a few stuff that you guys will see from the lore in game, some stuff you won't. But for now, I will just take a little bit slower, think about the next few days on the progression of the game for March, and hopefully by the end of March we will have some pretty good news. I know, Slime, you're from the lore team. I know your name. You're making the story of the game. If you're from the lore team, of course you're making the story of the game. You're making the story of the game. But keep an eye out for the upcoming changes. They might come sooner than ever. And if you guys want to support the game, you know, you can always do by donating on Patreon or even donating to PayPal, which the link will be on our Discord. But I will bring in the idea that I had, which will give rewards for the early supporters and for everybody who kinda donated funding the game, which will come in the format of statues, graveyards, tombstones, or maybe banners. But that's something to be discussed, and it will be limited just for a few people. It won't be given out too much. What about ambush tactics? Ambush tactics is something that people need to do and coordinate on their own. It won't be like a system to ambush, you know. If you want to ambush somebody, you can ambush. There will be a pack mechanic, and there will also be solo. Keep in mind that development of Dragon's Veil is mainly being done with playing solo, because dragons themselves, I do think they are powerful creatures. Eastern or the Eastern Dragon and the Wyverns themselves should be able to kind of fight their way solo. But we are going to create, of course, a style of dragon that you will need to kind of play as a pack. So we will create our own quote-unquote dragon style, which you will have dragons that you will be able to play as a solo, and there will be dragons that you will have to play as a group to kind of survive. There won't be a way to move traps, no. There will be a way to disable them, and there will be a way of triggering them. But moving traps will not be a thing. Because optimization is also something that we are taking really seriously. Because we don't really want to add fancy mechanics so that at the end of the day, neither, you know, of the players use them. And it's just there to consume frames and stuff like that, so. Eggs, baby dragons, and nesting. Yes, it will be implemented into the game, but in a later stage. In a very, very later stage. Because nesting, as the developer that I was talking about said, it is really complicated for a game developer point of view. But it is confirmed that we will have eggs, and you will have to take care of your eggs, and you have to take care of your baby dragons, because baby dragons will be vulnerable. And when I say vulnerable, they will be really, really vulnerable. So you will have to kind of rely on your parents. But those who spawn won't really rely on their parents. They will be able to just hunt straight away. But as all creatures, you will start small, and then you have to make your way up through the food chain. In the mix of that, you will have traps, you will have players, and you will have AI that will try to kill you. Traits being passed down from dragon to dragon is something that I'd hope to have, but I have to talk with this developer because he has a good sense of the developing, the developer aspect, because we have to first see how we want to approach the status, or in this case the status systems. If you want to go as a skill tree, if you want to go as the one that I've mentioned, and see what works best when you're passing down from dragon to dragon. You won't be able to breed with your mom or dad or sister or brother. Just keep that in mind to avoid any exploits. And like I said, the idea is to have a system where dragons, or a few of these dragons, can kind of lay eggs without the interference of a male. So you will be able to kind of lay these eggs, but you will only be able to lay them in a certain season or in a certain moon type. The moon haunts you. Will the AI use mechanics learning advanced scripts to make it smarter? Yes. That's why I want to start with PvE, because that's when I want the AI to be working. The first AI that you will see will probably not be that smarter, but then we will, improve it, make it a challenge, not make it like a dumb AI that it runs and it hides, but AI that can dodge, that can fly, that can think, and can track you down, and be a problem, a really, really good problem. Because like I said, at the end of the day, the AI and the traps are not really there to kill your dragon. They will kill you if you're low HP, or even if you don't really know how to play. But the objective of AI and traps and other things is to be a pain on the butt. And we will mix to the point where we will add probably dragons, or the same dragons that you will be playing as in game, so you won't know if that's an AI or if that's a real player. And some will come in packs. Mythical creatures are not really outside of the scope, but we are not really relying on mythical creatures. It just needs to be kind of plausible to have one, but we still need to think. There will be the XL AI, which is the XL creatures. Those are going to be the kind of apexes of the AI, where adult dragons can kind of fight them and get rewards, maybe. And those are going to be a problematic. So if you want to kill one of those creatures, you will need to be good. They will act almost like a mini boss. I don't really like to use that term, but they will be kind of like a mini boss. And they will drop something really valuable. They will have a chance of dropping something really valuable. And also they will be a good source of food for adult creatures, because once you get bigger, you will continue to grow into a bigger stage and eating, cows and maybe deers and stuff like that. It won't really fill your stomach. So the bigger you are, the more you have to eat. And those XL creatures and other dragons will be, good for your type of diet. So growing up will probably be more difficult to maintain. So technically, the question is that stands from a point of view of role playing. If you have a mother and father, depending on who they are, they might leave you or they might protect you. It's up to them. That's why nesting will need a little bit of planning. because we don't want people to nest people, you know, and then just leave them and they just leave the nest and just fly away, and then you're there, you know, defenseless. You can't really fly, you can't really eat, you can't really do damage, you can't really spit fire, and then you just stand there in your nest and nobody takes care of you. So hopefully, if you're gonna, you know, accept an egg, you will think twice of it. Some dragons will be able to eat their own kind, and other dragons, to avoid cannibalism, won't. Mating with AI was something that the previous developer, not Jern, but the one that I've talked, actually said something about it, but you won't be able to mate with AIs. But we are still looking into a way of making a few things work. But mating with AI will not be a thing. So we are 5 minutes almost by the end of the stream. Like I said, keep an eye out on the Discord. A lot of things will change. The game progression will kinda die down a tiny bit with the step down of Jaren, but don't think that the production will stop. I will take a more slow approach. We'll be very careful now on spending, especially money, to people that, you know, do a bad job, because it's my own money. Thank you, Lucky, for the questions. But like I said, the production will feel like it's slow or abandoned, but it won't be. I'm working on getting the coder on board, improving a few stuff, and hopefully in March adding a few new pretty cool features that were supposed to be added at this update. And like I said, it might come, it will depend on Jaren, but it might come or it may not come. I don't really know, because he's still working on the retarget system so that we can implement the animations that were being worked on the dragon, which unfortunately I can't really show you in this build. On a positive note, I want to say thank you for everybody who's continuously supporting the project and of course the dream. I do want to try, and I want to make this game a reality. It will take time, and you guys need to know that. Currently the team is small, but the aim is dead on. And even though Jaren will be gone, he did a significant boost to the project, and for that I am very grateful. And hopefully one day, if he feels motivated, the doors are all open for him to come back. But for now, things will slow down. Few things will be reworked. Discord probably will also be reworked, and our Patreon and a few things will also be added and reworked, so it is more plausible and more appealing for the members itself. So we have 2 minutes. If there's anything that you guys want to ask, feel free to do so. Because like I said, I don't really want to make this a large live stream. There's no problem, Lucky. So, on my behalf, once again, I do apologize for the lack of content this month. And I did do some errors, especially on the investment of the landscape, which cost me dearly. And with that, I have reflected and we'll take a very slow approach. And hopefully by March, we will have something nice and beautiful to show you guys. Until then, stay tuned and keep supporting the game. So to answer your question before I close the stream or end the stream, the game started as a way of to see if we can work it out. Now it's on the testing. So I'm testing the waters a little bit, seeing if it's, you know, good enough or whatever to create. And once we have found that sweet spot, hopefully we will create it. We will create the game and we will launch it on Steam and then hopefully on console. But with that, of course, I need the support of the community and, you know, the feedback of everybody. So without any further delays, I will catch you guys in the next dev stream, which will probably be on the 28th of March. It won't be on 31. We can kind of make it. Nah, let's leave it on 28th of March. So the next dev stream will be on the 28th of March. You got timed out on Discord for no reason. There should be no timed outs. Like I said in the beginning, there are special key. There are special keys that I think I revoked your timeout a few days ago. But like I said, there are a few keywords that if you type in on the Discord, you will get automatically timed out. And this is to kind of avoid the scam from Steam. So if you type Steam on the Discord, you will get timed out. So avoid using Steam as a word. Probably this is a question. Probably, I'm assuming this is you. It's so no Steam key, more like outside thing. But you should be good to go because here it says that you're not really timed out. So you should be able to type. You might just need to kind of verify your account, probably. But currently the game is on the outside, perspective. There will be soon, later than ever, keys on Steam that people can try out and play the game. But like I said, once again, it will be on Patreon and it will be a rework. I don't know because I never played Ark Ultimate Mobile Edition. I don't play Ark. So try to avoid the word Steam. Because you might get timed out because of the bot link scams that usually people type into the Discord. So thank you very much for participating on the live stream. The Patreon stuff will get a rework really soon, so just keep an eye out on the announcements and on Discord. But the people who are subscribed to the Patreon already have the sneak peeks on today's patch, which is not really that much, and they will get access to the game. So thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you guys in March or by the end of March with new and better updates and feedbacks. Take care and have a nice weekend.